Oh, hey, look at that. Huh. Well, I mean, this is a pretty good start to the stream, or more so to this recording. But yeah, looks like we got the rogue card to start, and now we have a bunch of packs. Let's see what this animation is. We'll get to see this once a year. Nice. Cards you use in standard change each year. Rest in peace, guys. Old Gods was definitely one of my favorite packs that ever came out. Oh boy, this means I'm getting a lot of dust too. Let's go. I actually crafted my golden ice block yesterday. Oh yeah, that's right. The new hero comes out. So if you play 10 games, you get the new druid hero. But I really can't create a deck. So instead, let's just open some packs. They're not gonna let me. All right, cool. We already got 70. We got 77 Witchwood packs and one classic pack. But we have 3,000 gold, so that means we're at 107 of these new packs. Mm, purchase complete. This is why we were saving our gold. Was for this moment. Gonna start opening packs now. Let's see what we get, guys. Okay, it's gonna put the classic first. Good old oldies. Nothing good though. But let's see what we get. We have a lot of different things that we can get. A lot of new archetypes, and I'm gonna be going through the cards I think that are worth putting in certain decks. Uh, really, I think this is just average cards. Like this is bad. This is bad. I believe this is probably going to be okay, depending on how good hand druid's going to be. I don't think this is good. Only thing I could see this being good in is like Tempo Warrior, and I don't think this card is strong enough for Zulok, but it may be possible. I just think if Control Warlock is going to be the most popular Warlock deck, this will not see play. I think Warpath is kind of good. It really just depends on how good the Greymane Warrior deck is going to be. But I think the rest of these cards are just kind of eh. I don't even think this card is even that good in hand druid. And I think this card is just a buff elemental. It doesn't really do anything else. Giving them +2 attack for 8 mana, it's not really worth it. It's probably just better to get it off Kalamos for situational. I think this card's actually kind of bad. I don't like it. I think for 6 mana trying to get combo pieces like that is just I don't know. Like it's essentially 6 mana deal 5 damage, and that's why I don't like it. Like 6 mana deal 5 damage and draw a card. I just don't think it's that strong. I think this is probably going to be nuts because the Shaman Legendary is nuts. I don't think this card's that good. It's essentially just a worse shield block. I really don't know if this is going to be that good unless there's like a dragon deck that becomes popularized. So if that dragon deck becomes popular, you might see this. Like Dragon Priest with Lady in the White could maybe make use out of this. And not sure how good this is. I mean, 3 mana, 3/4 is pretty nice, but giving your opponent things has just historically been bad. Lag, because there's so many people opening packs right now. Witch Apprentice obviously is really good. I think it's one of the best one drops they released in the set. Definitely better than the egg. Witchwood Piper, I'm not sure how good it's gonna be. Like maybe in Shaman just to pull this just to get random spells and stuff. But I just think as a 4 mana 3/3, it's weak, and like just it's probably not gonna make the 30 card cut. in most situations. I think this card is also interesting, the Dark Moonkin. But yeah, just a 7-mana 2/8. This is probably going to be more of like an evolved gimmick than anything. And I don't know how good this is. This is just like a worse Unleash the Hounds, in my opinion. But we'll see. Alright, I only think this card is going to be good in Priest. But that's only with the lady in the white. These other like this card's a good replacement for Eater Secrets, but I don't think Deranged Doctor is that good. So the commons are just kind of underwhelming. They seem like really beefy without like any justifications to them. We're gonna get an epic this pack, aren't we? Aha! Oh, it's Rat Trap. I don't really like this card. I think it's interesting and just like another way to kind of make your Hunter Secrets kind of hard to play around. But it's a really nice payoff. But like it's just really hard for, like in the early game. If you're playing this on 2, it's really rare that you're gonna get this off before like even like turn 5. Like I don't know. This seems like more of a late game secret. The other ones are just kind of eh. Ooh, first legendary of the set, and we got Toki Time Tinker. Okay. I think this card is probably gonna be okay. I would have to see the list of cards that it pulls just to like get you like specific statistics. But I think this card is probably just gonna get you an average card every time. So just a 6-mana 5/5 that gets you a pretty nice minion. I mean, it's not bad. Okay. I was hearing a lot of people saying like this is the best rogue card, and I don't know why. Like it is just good to activate for Kingsbane, but a 3-mana 2/4 that needs something else to be played. I don't know. Uh, this is it's a good Silence Priest gimmick, but I don't think it's going to be that powerful. I think an Elemental is just it makes it a lower pool for Priest, and yeah. Come on. Okay, this I don't think this card's very powerful. It just like having a 5/2 stealth is fine, but it's just weak to AoEs. Usually on turn 3, you want to be a bit more proactive instead of playing defensively. And having a 2/5 is just not good, especially since it's not a beast and it has no way of getting buffed. Walnut not that good. I don't think this Angler's that good either. Good old fashioned expansions. Like I'm really hoping to get the Shaman legendary, but other than that, there's really no card in particular, like no legendary in particular that I want. I kind of want to get the 2-mana card, uh, the 2-mana mage legendary, the one that draws minions, because I think that minion mage is actually going to be somewhat broken. I don't know yet. Uh, these cards are just kind of eh. I think Drake's probably going to be powerful in Arena, but in Standard, this just doesn't seem like something Hunter necessarily wants. If a Control Hunter is still going to be a thing, then maybe, but just like a dragon, I don't know. These other ones are kind of bad. I think this is just this is funny in all honesty, but you have to have a way to get rid of that poisonous minion. Otherwise, this 3-mana 5/4 does nothing. It's just a big boy, big beef boy. Ravencaller, I already said, like adding minions to your hand. Like I don't know. This could be really good for Quest Hunter. It's the only thing I really see it being good in, but I don't know. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a random 2-cost minion. This gets your Doomsayer every time, obviously. I don't know. It probably has a better pull than we're thinking. Like whole new cards, whole new rotation. We need to relook the statistics before we completely dismiss a card. Uh, Night Scale Matriarch is actually not that bad. Becomes a 9/9 with Lady of the Lake, like or whatever, Lady in the White. I'm gonna keep messing up that name. But Lady of the White makes this card absolutely ridiculous. Like, there's a lot of cards that just become ridiculous with it, and I mean, this card's pretty good in Rush Warrior. It curves out pretty nicely, and if you have that one drop that draws you a Rush card, it's just really good. Blank Fox, I think, is very good. Like, easily a 3. Ooh, Scale Worm. I don't really know how powerful this card's going to be. Like I said earlier, dragons need to be prevalent in order for these cards to even be considered. But I don't know how good dragons are going to be. The pool just significantly got weaker. Rebuke is actually one of my favorite Paladin cards to come out, but I've heard a lot of people be skeptical about this card, which makes me skeptical. Like, it's just the reason why they're skeptical is because this doesn't like blatantly counter everything. This just counters spell centric decks, and if you're going against like a mid-range mirror or you're like an aggro matchup, this card is just not going to do a whole bunch. So I'm not sold on it yet. It really just depends on like if control meta is back to where like mid-range might be able to thrive, but I'm not sure. I really have no good meta predictions right now. Just trying to figure out what works, and then we make the meta predictions based off of what works. Witchwood Imp may be good in Zoo. Woodcutter's Axe is definitely one of the best warrior cards to come out. 2 mana 2/2 weapons are insane. And like you can coin this out on 1 and easily get your 2-drop rush to get buffed, or on turn 3 it curves out pretty nicely. So you have options with this card. Curse of Weakness, I think, is a very powerful card. Like, regardless of whether or not you're going to use the horror card now with it, you could still just play this and just delay aggro for a turn and setting up for AOE's, which is probably the best way to use this card. You don't necessarily need the horror. I don't know if Dustback's that good. This kind of goes back to my other comment about the pirate. 3 mana 2/4s aren't, they're not terrible, but they're not great. And you need to do something already in order to get its ability, so I don't think it's that good. Second epic. Sandbinder? I don't think this card's that good. If elemental decks are really good, then you're just gonna want to play an elemental instead of this card, right? Or just play some like card draw, just to pull things from your deck. Like, this isn't really that good. Like, Dark Possession is insane. I've only heard good cards about this, and I actually agree. Like, it kills your lackey. It's another way to kill lackey. You can just activate it turn 1 if you really want to, and just discovering a demon that you can take advantage of with either Skull or just if you're a Zoo deck. Like, this is just a really good card. It's a good card. It's gonna be insane. We're definitely gonna see it in Q Block. Silver Sword, I think, is actually somewhat underrated. If mid-range Paladin becomes popular, then you can really get some value out of this if you can just produce sticky boards. And also, one of my friends told me that the dragon that reduces weapon cost, I forget what it's called, but I think it's either a 4 or 5 mana card. Uh, like, reducing this to a 6 mana card, like 6 mana 3/4 is pretty good. Plus, if you have you're more likely to have a board by turn 5, going into turn 6 if you can get this card reduced by then. So I think this card has options. Cheap Shot's also really good for Rogue, just a good way of taking early stages of the game, or later stages in the game. You can just get rid of a lot of things, or one big minion. Like, this is a very flexible card. We already talked about the other ones. Whenever you draw a card, gain +1/+1. I think this card is really dependent on how good mage, a minion mage is going to be. But I don't really think it's going to be that good, because like you could play this card just has to live. It has to live in order to be good. Like AI with this is okay. Like an 8 mana 6/6 draw 2. That's essentially a worse fight promoter. But I don't know. I think this card has too many things going wrong for it in Mage. If this card was in Rogue, I think it'd be insane. But nah. And I think this card actually is underrated as well. But at the same time, I get why it's underrated. Like 5 mana 1/3, it's just an card. But just instant kill a minion for 5 mana is pretty good in Hunter, I would say. And like if you get this as an evolved shaman, it's pretty funny. Whether or not it's like OP, I don't think so. Useful, definitely though. It's definitely useful. Snap Freeze, just a replacement for Shatter. I think it's a good flex card, but I don't know how good it's gonna be. Just 2 mana freeze a minion is so bad. You need to have like ways of triggering this and destroying minions. Sound the Bell, I don't think is that good. Like, this could be useful with Pyro. That's the only good combo I've seen with it. That and triggering the Paladin quest, but Galvadon's not good. That's the problem. If Galvadon was better, then maybe this card would be better. But nah. Just a good meat card. It's not really that good. Like, even in the Lady of the White deck, just a 7 mana 9/9 with taunt, it's not the best. Ooh, Golden Warpath. Let's keep the Golden Warrior cards coming. And fit the HELLSCREAM theme. Night Prowler seems pretty good. Like, maybe this can be used in Warlock. Like, you Defile and then play this. It's pretty good. What other decks could maybe make use of this? Like, I mean, if it was like the first mini on your side of the board, it'd be completely broken. But you need to be able to just completely get rid of the board. Like, maybe this will be good in Hunter. You know, clear the board with like tiny Hunter cards, and then just play this on turn 4. It's also a beast. That's the only reason why I'm imagining it might be okay in Hunter. Okay, Blood Witch I think it's above average. It's really dependent on like how good the 30 cards in the standard Q block is gonna be now, since the Q block list is essentially still the same 25 cards as the year of the Mammoth. But Blood Witch, I mean, it's a 4 mana 3/6 is really good. It's just a really beefy minion, and high HP minions are very valuable in Warlock. And it only deals 1 damage to your face. It's just really good to enable your cards. And you have lots of healing in the deck, so I think this card is fine to run in it. The Wasp, though, depending on how important Curve is in Rush Warrior, if it's even viable, is going to determine how good this card is going to be. Okay, Blackwalled Pixie. This is a hit or miss card. Like, I think this card may be powerful in Exodia Paladin, but there's too many cards and too many specifics in Exodia Paladin to make it good. Like, I've been thinking of ways to try and make a deck, and I'm gonna try something, but the Exodia Paladin is just gonna be bumped out by all the other really powerful archetypes that are gonna emerge. So whether or not this card is gonna be of any use, I am not sure. I want it to be good, but the only good thing I see in this is Exodia Paladin, and Exodia Paladin isn't gonna be in a good spot. Holy Water, I think this is going to be better in later metas, but as right now, don't know if it's going to be that good, because Priest has to be able to play this card, kill a minion, and then be able to summon the minion, and later on in the game, it's probably not going to be that powerful. I don't know. 5 mana deal 4 isn't all too good. I don't think Odd Druid is going to be that good, so I don't think this card's any good. I think this card is too expensive. The Divine Shield is okay. It's essentially just deal 5 and summon a 3/4. I mean, deal 3 and summon a 3/4 minion. But I think for 5 mana, it's not going to be too powerful. I think Mad Hatter is just a bad card. This card is understated and it can benefit your opponent. So it just makes it a bad card. Waiting for the Witch Room to catch up with itself. Alright, cool. Mistwraith? See, I don't know how good Echo cards are gonna be in Rogue. Like, maybe if Burgle Rogue becomes really good, and this card can be put in it, like maybe you have one copy of it, but I don't think this ever has 2 copies of it. I don't think there's enough support for Echo in order to justify running this card. Sap, I've only heard good things about, but I don't know how good this card is, really. Like, yeah, it's valuable. 0 mana do anything, like, this productive is very good, but, like, just top decking this card when you really need something else is the worst thing I see for this. Like, you really need it in the early stages of the game for it to be good. I think this card overall is powerful, but just it's only powerful in the early stages of the game or when trading really matters. I think this card is just better to get from like a bunch of like random shaman pools. Like with Hagatha, if you just keep playing minions and you keep getting saps, it's like, oh hell yeah, I can just keep getting rid of minions and stuff. But on its own, I don't think it's that powerful. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Lost Spirit is garbage. 2 mana Death Rattle, that's just not impactful. You need to have a board built up by then, and it's just not good. Okay, Wing Blast, definitely one of the best Hunter cards. It's just too good. This is pretty much always going to be 1 mana deal 4 damage, just because when is Hunter not going to have a minion on board? Like, this is only going to be not included in like odd Hunter decks. Like every Hunter deck is probably going to run this card, at least 1 copy. Like this is just an insane value card. It really helps with Hunter's weakness of like getting too far behind and like having them use their minions for literally everything. And for trading, that's just not powerful. We already talked about all these cards. These 4 are kind of insane in my opinion, and this is eh. I've not gotten a second legendary yet. Dire Frenzy, I don't. I mean, obviously with Boar, it's nice, but aside from the meme, I don't know what this could be really be good for. Putting copies of minions back into your deck is only as good as their abilities, probably, or like their immediate value, rather than like going for glory, which glory is awesome, but this is just bad. This card's also bad. Like, why would you run this when you have Blood Mage? Like, drawing a card is better than having 3 HP. Witching Hour, I think this is only going to be good in some kind of OTK deck. Maybe you can do like charge Devil Swords and just 3 mana bring back a 7/7 with charge. You could probably do this with the Quest Druid or something. Maybe you can set up some kind of OTK. I don't know. I think this card only is going to have a specific home, and if it doesn't, then it's just garbage. Ooh, second legendary set. Let's go. Lady in the White. All right. Well, this is probably one of the best legendaries. I hate this ability. I fucking hate this ability. I hate Inner Fire as a card, and they print a legendary which literally makes all your minions like, oh my god. Well, this card's insane. We don't need to really say much about it. It enables so many cards. Divine Hymn. I think this card's gonna be okay. I think that Circle of Healing just kind of gets the job done, and you really don't need that much like heal towards your face. But I could be wrong, and this card could be insane. Paragon of Light. I don't know how good this card's gonna be. Like, you need to either have a board buff on the field, or you need to buff it somehow. Hand buff isn't really that supported anymore now that Mean Street's rotated out. Like you just gotta buff this on the board with like either the weapon or like one of your buffs from hand. And I mean, it having taunt is pretty good. The lifesteal I don't think is that important, but the taunt makes this card somewhat valuable. Swamp Leech. I think that Swamp Leech is only good. I'm sorry, is only good with Deathstalker Rexar. Like, getting the lifesteal is better than just trying to get the Bloodworm, in my opinion. Like, this is just an easier card to get it on with in case you need the lifesteal that badly. Like, Kodo into this could be pretty insane. That's if Kodo is still a card. I can't remember if it's Frozen Throne or not. Tanglefur. I think we talked about this card a little bit. It's not really that good because giving your opponent anything could be bad, and it really just I think it depends on the 2-drop pool as well. And I don't know if this is even worth running. Like, maybe in Lady of the White decks, but it's not powerful at all. You got an epic now? Oh, Nightmare Agulum. That card's pretty powerful. I mean, Spider Tank, obviously, but it's weak to every crab. Maybe if like you just need to fit in another card that fits the theme of the deck, this is what you put in. It's really good on turn 3. But I don't know, man. I think this is just gonna be a flex card more than not. It's a powerful card. I will give it that though. This is trash. You already talked about these cards, but the tree ants are just not worth it. 2 mana to get 2 mana cards in your hand. I'd rather not. I'd rather just wild growth every time. We already talked about these cards. I mean, I didn't really go into Blink Fox. Just like getting a card is really good, and a 3-mana 3/3 is really good. Like, do I need to say anything else about it? It's a good card. Good animation. I mean, good card art. Good everything. I'd like to get a golden one. Coffin Crasher is pretty insane in Death Rattle Priest, so maybe Quest Priest can still be a thing. I don't know if there's like any gimmicky combo OTKs you can do with this, but this pulls Obsidian Statue that you can pull itself. It can pull oh god, I'm trying to think of something else. I can't think of anything else, but those are the 2 big boys. I need to get back. I need to really think about cards, synergies, and whatnot. I really don't know too many Death Rattles because I haven't played Death Rattle decks in a while. If Sylvanas was still in rotation, then hell yeah, that'd be pretty dope. Maybe you can also get like Karen out of it. Garbage. All this kind of garbage. 2 nuts in 1 pack. Thanks, Blizzard. It's like finding peanuts. Oh, Golden Muck Hunter. I think this card's a 2 at best. It's just giving your opponent 2/1s. Like, I only see this being good in Warrior, and then you're damaging your minion and having a 5/7 rush, and then trading into something and making it like a 5/4 or something. I don't know. I don't know. I think this card's just it's giving your opponent too much. Oh, another golden epic. What the fuck? Golden rat trap. Okay. Alright, Blizzard. I see you. Clockwork Automate W. Oh, okay. Alright. This is an okay card. I don't think it's insane, but it maybe can have a home in Odd Priest. You know, healing yourself for 8 can be pretty insane. After your hero attacks, give this minion +1/+1. Maybe you can find a home in Warrior. I think there are better cards though. The 3-mana rush card seems to be better, just because 3-mana 3/3, and then it gets the mana buff. I think it's the weapon buff. So that can be pretty good, maybe. Regular Monk Hunter. That's 3 epics in a row now. 2 golden epics and then a regular epic, and it's 2 of the same. And I now have 2 copies of both these cards now. pretty insane. Golden Angler. We already talked about these cards. It's gonna start getting to that point where like we just talked about every single one of these cards because there's only so many commons. If Tom, I mean, if Hand Warrior, or I mean, Hand Druid is good, then definitely. Oh, another legendary. Uh, I'm skeptical about this card. I don't think it's that good. Like if maybe if running the like the more that I think about this card, the more you're not gonna run secrets, but having your 1 mana cards, like if you're running flame elementals and stuff, making them legendary minions can be beneficial. Like you just don't have too many 1 mana cards you want to run in Paladin. That's the only issue with this. Like you have your protectors, maybe you run Argent Squires, maybe actually Jailer with this card is pretty good. Get 3 mana 1/1s and then just play this and get 3 random legendaries. That's pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna be hopeful for this card. I don't think it's gonna be insane, but I'm gonna be hopeful. Swift Messenger. Yeah, this card's kind of bad. It's essentially just 4 mana, deal 6 at the best, and that's only if it lines up correctly. I think it's too specific. It's just not that good. Like the swap cards can maybe really be good in Priest, but I don't know. You need Lady the White. Like Lady in White is just what the hell? Why did they print that card? It's so good, and this card is so bad. These are all kind of bad, honestly. Fiendish Cycle is again, like I said earlier, maybe good in Zoo, but with Control Warlock being on the rise and being the only deck not really hit from last rotation, it's gonna be hard to outvalue as another Warlock deck. Although I really want to get these Shaman cards. Rat Catcher. Let's see. If you curve out a good 2-drop, like say you play Vulgar Homunculus or something, then this card maybe becomes a 4/6 at best. It doesn't gain the taunt, but it just has abilities of trading pretty well. But getting rid of your board and making a bigger minion just sometimes makes you weak to spot removal. So I'm skeptical on this card being really good outside of like Perfect Curve, but any other time, I don't know. It's too dependent on your board state. It doesn't develop board by turn 3, which is something that Zoo really needs in order to thrive. And besides, if you're going to be killing your own minions, you're not going to be using that card. It's the only other way I can see it being used. Wing Blast, obviously crazy. Alright, we already talked about these cards. The secret is the reason why people have been skeptical about it is because Zalay put it perfectly in his card review video that if you don't like secrets come out on 1, 2, and 3 most of the times, and you can't get rid of them as soon as you need to. Obviously, it works in the later stages of the game, but tempo is very important with cards like that. Bewitched Grizzly, we already talked about, not really that good. Squashling, maybe okay, but with the amount of heal options that Priest has for like massive amounts of heal at one time, I think the 1 mana card is just not worth it. These cards are kind of okay. Silver Sword, I think, has potential. Same with Rebuke, but it's very dependent on the meta. Earthen Might, if Elemental Shaman has a way to shine, which I think it does, this card may be good. Just a 2 mana buff your 1/1 drop is pretty insane. Make your Firefly a 3/4. Okay, another Earthen Might. Now Prowler is going to be okay in Hunter, like I said earlier. Probably the only class I could see it working in really well. Spitting Fester Root, I think, is awful. This is like an aggro druid card for 8 mana. Like something that, like something weak that's something like equally uh kind of bad. I don't know. I think this card is just meh. Like Alpha evolves, maybe it's okay, but that's way too specific. Kind of just like one of the bad pack filler epics, in my opinion. If it ends up being good, you guys can give me a lot of hate for it. Go ahead. I just don't see it being powerful. Like a lot of the repeats now. I don't think there's any common we didn't get so far. We've opened about 50 packs. Mudspark, a Mercspark Eel. I think this card is not nearly as good as Medivh's Valet. So, and like it also has a condition to where you have to build your deck around it. I don't think it's that good. Whereas Rabbit Worgen works really well in rush decks. It is just completely dependent on rush decks being good. Like I might as well just say that about every rush card for Warrior, that rush cards are only going to be as good as Rush Warrior is, and we can't really evaluate it yet because we haven't seen it in action. Trash. I wish I didn't open it. I think this card is just way too bad. Like the biggest case, like you play this card in 5. If they somehow don't kill it because they don't have like Siphon Soul or like some kind of spot removal, then you can maybe get value out of this, but you cannot be dependent on this card. It has too many weaknesses. There's too many spot removal cards in every single class in order to make that card good. Essentially, you can just summon a big minion and then just it's a bad time. Totem Cruncher, I think, is interesting. I don't know if it's going to be good, but maybe it can be powerful. Like, if you kill one totem with this, then it's good. So I'm hopeful for it, but I'm skeptical about it. Bonfire Elemental is kind of like on the same boat, where I think it's a strong card on its own, but you have to be able to build your deck around it in order for it to be good. 5 mana 5/5 is very good, so whether or not you get its battle cry off is okay, but you obviously want the battle cry to go off. It's a sign. This is a sign, dude. Exodia Paladin has to be tried. Now that I got the golden copy, I would only want one pixie in the deck anyway. Having 2 is just gonna be bad. We already talked about these cards. Bonfire Elemental, maybe good. Gloomstag again? Ew. I really don't think that Druid's gonna be that good this meta. It's been a while since Druid's been really bad. Like, Druid's worst meta was actually the last meta. And it still saw some amount of play. But it's time for it to be on the very bottom. Like, Druid's always had a way to, like, pull off some pretty gimmicky stuff every season. Especially when combo Druid was still a thing with Force of Nature, Savage Roar. I just saw that 3 mana cat. That card's only gonna be good if Odd Mage is gonna be good. It's pretty much a mini Azure Drake. You know, we already talked about these cards. I'm gonna be getting a lot of dust. I already got like almost 5K from Blizzard, so keep them coming. Whoa! Oh, we got Hagatha. Let's go. One part of the Shaman combo complete. Wanted. Alright, this card is only good only because Chalky figured it out. And if you don't know what Chalky figured out, you're just gonna have to wait until you see it on a ladder match. Because it's a secret, okay? But I have pretty much already told you where to look, so you can't get terribly mad at me. We already talked about these cards. I just need to get the other Shaman legendary. I can't remember its name for some reason. Shuttershock or something. Pickpocket is pretty good. It's kind of core because you need to be able to steal cards. So you're probably always going to run two of them. Yeah, trash cards. Yeah, already talked about all these. Bad card. Oh my god, the third Gloom stack. I already said it, man. I don't need to say it a third time. Odd Druid is just gonna be bad. Got a Golden Blood Witch, now we got a regular one. Okay. Get something interesting. I don't think we talked about Phantom Militia, but what can we really say that hasn't been said about this card? Like Taunt Warrior, obviously, seems to be the only card, like the only archetype I could see it fitting in. Mossy Horror, awesome with the Warlock Curse of Weakness. I don't really know if this is going to have another home though, other than in Warlock decks and maybe Priest. But Priest having a 6 mana Horror as a 2 mana 7/7, as a 6 mana 2/7, like Lady in the White makes this a 7/7, but I don't know. It's just very dependent. Lady of the White just works in so many different ways, man. Trust me. It's just gonna make the game feel like Yu-Gi-Oh, where you're just gonna summon a bunch of big minions all the time. Uh, yeah, he's kind of bad. Eh, average, average and bad. Black Cat. Alright, we already said the one comment about it. It's essentially mini Azure Drake, but it's too specific. I don't know if Odd Mage is going to be a thing. I think that Elemental Mage is going to be a thing. Maybe Minion Mage can be a thing. But I think that Odd Mage, like this is just awful. This is just an awful Mage card. 2 more mana to deal 2 more split damage. That is just not even worth it in any circumstance. Random pull is the only way that card is going to be any good. It's just to make the Mage spell pool worse. All right, Life Drinker. I'm gonna call this now. I think this is probably one of the best cards in the set. A lot of people have been talking about potential OTKs with the Shaman legendary. So we just keep setting this card off over and over and over again, or setting off the battle cries over and over and over again. Like it's just insane. And besides, like 4 mana 3/3 with a really powerful effect, like single handedly puts Nightblade out of any deck now if you have it. But yeah, I think Life Drinker is one of the best cards in the set. Pretty basic. Like all these cards have potential of being good. All right, I think we should get at least 2 more legendaries before we run out of packs. I've only heard bad things about Death Web Spider, and the main reason why it's bad is because it doesn't make the 30 card cut. Like it's a powerful effect, but 4 mana, I mean 4 HP life steal whenever it deals damage. Like you're not going to be able to activate this without coin until turn 5 or turn 6 without coin. So I'm kind of hesitant on it as well. I don't think it's going to be too powerful. It doesn't make the cut. Maybe in lifesteal warlock memes, but I don't see any viable way of making it really good. Oh, we got the golden blink fox. Called it. Let's go. Let's get those 2 more legendaries, and I'll be satisfied. Some more epics wouldn't be that bad either. Oh boy, Glenda Crowskin. Okay. Um, I've heard a few ways of making this work, but like I don't know how good it's gonna be. Like all your cards have echo. What would you want to echo all the time? Deal damage cards maybe. I don't know what works in Warlock though. I'd have to look. Yeah, there's like maybe you could use it with giants. Like if you have Mountain Giant and you can just summon 2 of them in a turn, that's pretty cool. This would be broken with Molten Giant actually. This is really broken with Molten Giant and Wild. Uh, yeah, I'm blanking out on other ways of making this card really good, but I've heard like Glacial Shard is okay. But I mean, I'm not gonna run this in Zoo. It seems kind of bad in Zoo. 6 mana 3/7 is okay stat line. Just spot removal is the only thing I'm worried about, and this is like a must kill card. But yeah, I think it's pretty okay. Might be useful in the future. We'll see. People were skeptical about Rin, but people were completely underestimating the ability of destroying people's decks. And we got 2 of these cards golden. What luck. I don't even think we've opened a regular one yet. Alright, we got another epic. Vivid Nightmare. I've heard potential OTK combos with this, with Velen. So maybe this card is good, but I don't think it's that good in Big Priest. I think that Big Priest has been kind of gutted. Yeah, average cards. Alright, we gotta find Shutter. We gotta find Shutter. Okay, Black Cow Gunspire. I think this card is underrated, man. Like, I've heard everybody I know say that this card is terrible, and I get their criticism. But my main thing about this card, I have 3 points I want to make about this card. Number one, if you can make just a regular control warrior without Baku or Gen, then this card is just really good because of all the area of effect cards you have. So that's number one. It works really well with the rest of your deck if it's not specific to its mana cost. Number two, can't attack minions are usually ignored more than not, and that's really good. So you can just keep using the cards like I listed earlier in order to just keep dealing 3 damage. And this is like essentially you can deal 24 damage with this card. And if you have the Death Knight equipped, then you activate it every single time. And then point number 3, why I think this card is good, if your opponent does decide to trade into it, then it deals 6 damage every time. So if they've got a big board and they're like, okay, I'm gonna try and knock this thing out, then it ends up killing their other minions because it's a random effect. Like, I think this card can be made use of. I get the criticism. It's very specific and requires you to have the build made. Hi, doggo. You almost knocked over the computer. But I feel like this card can be made use of. I don't think it's tier. I don't think it's 1 status, like 1 out of 5, but it's definitely not a 1. It's got to be like at least a 2 because you can make it work. I believe this card can be made useful. All right, so we got those 2 legendaries. Whoa. Okay, again, hello. All right, and Glittermoth, hello. Let's get some other good stuff. Again, obviously really good to get just because, even decks may be pretty good, but I don't know of anything right off the bat that can make use of this. Paladin decks, maybe. What really benefits from getting a 1 mana hero power? Mage? Maybe Hunter? But Hunter has too many good odd cost cards to make Baku face Hunter for 3 damage, like, really good. So I don't know. I can't think of anything that makes and ridiculously broken. Another epic. Toxmonger. I think on turn 5 this could be pretty crazy with Boar, but with just one drops in general, with them not having like anything special to them aside from like really powerful death rattles or maybe battle cries, like this would actually work with Elven Archer, wouldn't it? Like you play this, play Elven Archer, and then it just dies because it's poison. I think it would work that way, but that's a really bad reason to have Elven Archer in your deck to begin with, is to make that combo work. There's better ways. I think it's an interesting card, but it doesn't have lots of ways of being supported. Glass Knight, all right, fuck yeah, let's keep going, man. I think this card has ways of being useful. Like it's the glass cannon kind of, but not really. It just has a lot of ways of just getting taken care of. Like obviously silence. If you're against a really board centric deck, then this just gets traded into. But it gets its worth. I think this card's gonna have a home, but I don't think it's gonna like carry a deck by any means. Alright, we're down to the last 5. Another life drinker. Come on, we got to get Shudder. Shudder's the last card we need. I mean, I'm probably gonna end up crafting it, but I'm fine. Fine crafting it because it's such a good card. All right, kind of bad cards. They're epic. Okay, Arcane Keysmith, very good. I give this card a very good rating. Just like minion mage is being pushed a lot, so just being able to find a secret and just put it onto the battlefield, like you don't even need the secret in your deck. It just you can just find it, and this is essentially a 1-mana 2/2 with the secret attached to it. The only thing that sucks is that it's obviously random, but Discover makes the pool a lot easier to find exactly what you're looking for. This card is very powerful. I think it's going to be seeing a lot of play. All right, last pack. Dun, 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 all right, we got the Baneful Banker. All right, this is where I can highlight my potential Exodia Paladin thing. So you obviously can use 2 of these to get 2 of the hero powers from Uther, the Ebon Blade, into your deck. Draw them naturally, and then you can also use Zola to get the 3rd one. But like that is very hard and very specific, which is kind of my point that I was talking about with the Pixie earlier, with it being maybe okay. Like I think this card has tons of value, tons of potential, but it's only specific to Exodia Paladin, and other than that, if it's not an Exodia Paladin, what else is this really good in? Like, Madame Goya kind of had a similar effect, or at least like it influenced cards with your deck, but it didn't see that much play because it's really hard to make this useful. Like you have to either run cards that draw specific cards, and then you have to like there's a lot of specifics. It's hard to make this card very good without setting it up. And obviously it's not going to be that good in aggro. I don't think it's going to be good in aggro at least. And Exodia Paladin is the only thing that screams at me when looking at this card. So you may see an Exodia Paladin list from me in the future, but whether or not it's going to be any good, I'm extremely skeptical. It just feels like other things are just going to blow it out of the water. But yeah, let's see how much dust we get. All right. Ooh, man. Sitting at almost 8k dust. Oh, no, we are at 8k. Hell yeah, I can't do math. Alright, well that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm really, really excited for what's going to come up from this new expansion, and you guys better be excited too, because holy crap, this is going to be insane. Oh my god, I will check you guys later.